I'm going to introduce Brad. So Brad Bennett teaches creative writing to kids and haiku to adults. He has published 2 collections of haiku with Red Moon Press, A Drop of Pond, 2016, and A Turn in the River, 2019. A Drop of Pond won a Touchstone Distinguished Book Award from the Haiku Foundation, and A Turn in the River was shortlisted for the Touchstone Award. He recently started working on a new manuscript that will hopefully be published this year. Brad currently serves as haiku and senior editor for Frog Pond. Since the pandemic started, he's been emailing 3 of his haiku each Monday to anyone who would like to receive them. Please let him know if you'd like to be added to his BCC list. Here's Brad.
Thanks so much, Gary. And I wanted to start by saying great job, Janice. I thank you for sharing some of your Stardust with us. I really appreciate and admire your loyal dedication to close observation and to the haiku moment. So congratulations. And thanks to all of you for inviting us to read today. I'm honored and humbled to be reading in front of so many wonderful haiku poets. You're certainly getting a dose of Bay State haiku today. I'm going to start with a handful of haiku that I've written over the last several years. And away we go. Following the zigzag bridge, pine-scented wind. Following the zigzag bridge, pine-scented wind. Open meadow, a monarch hinges on a milkweed. Summer days, the green croquet ball ticks against the blue. I still remember those croquet games with my grandparents so many years ago in rural Ohio. Summer days, the green croquet ball ticks against the blue. An acorn in its mouth, autumn silence. An acorn in its mouth, autumn silence. Memory foam, last night's dream already gone. Spring calls, 2,000 feathers on a warbler. Spring calls, 2,000 feathers on a warbler. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, an ebb tide tugs at the shore. Autumn sunset, a cardinal spits out the husk. Losing count of our creek crossings, canyon wren. That one was written in Sedona at one of my favorite trails. It's the West Fork of the Oak Creek Canyon. And you walk up this stunning canyon with high walls on both sides, stained with patina, and the trail runs out. And so you just wade up the creek, up the canyon, and it's stunning. Losing count of our creek canyon, losing count of our creek crossings, canyon wren. What doesn't reach the ground, glistening pines. Wildflower scape, the wide wingspan of a red-tailed hawk. And the first line of that one is one long word. Wildflower scape, the wide wingspan of a red-tailed hawk. Some of our concrete haiku lose a bit in the reading out loud. All at once, millipede. All at once, millipede. Spelling quiz, she keeps twisting that loose tooth. Swamp water, the proper nouns we haven't yet named. Hopping off the bus at the right stop, autumn leaves. Summer's end, a box of feathers for show and tell. Summer's end, a box of feathers for show and tell. Since many of you live in California, you may be pining for some of the snow that we experience here in New England. New Year's Day, a toddler's shovelful of snow. New Year's Day, a toddler's shovelful of snow. Snow season, brushing up on my conifers. Faint city stars, not enough snow for the plows. Faint city stars, not enough snow for the plows. First issue of a new journal, bird tracks in snow. I've been experimenting with two-line haiku recently, so here's one of my recent experiments. Snowmelt trickle, salamander wind. Snowmelt trickle, salamander wind. I'm finding myself writing a lot of sky and cloud haiku these days. Perhaps it's because I sometimes get frustrated with what we puny humans are doing down here with this earth. Summer sky, how could nothing be so blue? Summer sky, how could nothing be so blue? Cradling the baby's skull, summer clouds. This next one is another two-liner. Out of milk, morning sky. Out of milk, morning sky. This next one is actually part of the same haiku walk that Janice's poem was a part of. Singing falsetto to the car radio, high drifting clouds. Spring sky, erasing a question mark on my bird life list. I erased another one the other day when I saw a snowy owl on the dunes here in Massachusetts. That was special. Stone slab steps, a day of clouds fades into dusk. Stone slab steps, a day of clouds fades into dusk. I really enjoyed talking with y'all about euphony and haiku last spring. And here are some more examples of my euphonic explorations. Briar buds, a song sparrow's song grows stronger. Briar buds, a song sparrow's song grows stronger. A path through sassafras saplings, light rain. The awl of a marsh wren's call. Deadheading daylilies, a curled petal clings to my finger. Deadheading daylilies, a curled petal clings to my finger. Open sky, a pond opaque with pollen. Here are a few about the art of writing haiku. Where to place a line break, moss between stones. Show, don't tell, saguaros. Show, don't tell, saguaros. The pause of an ellipsis, pond lilies. 6 feet apart, more ma in my haiku. Sleet, tell it slant. And as you might imagine, that runs diagonally across the page. It's a tribute to Emily Dickinson and her famous line, "Tell all the truth, but tell it slant," which seems like a perfect way to talk about disjunction in haiku. Today's forecast, the same Kigo. Today's forecast, the same Kigo. The cut in my haiku, dead mosquito. And insect lover Jeff Hoagland didn't like that one, I'll tell you that. This past summer, I was very lucky to be a poet in residence at Acadia National Park in Maine. Its nickname is the crown jewel of the North Atlantic coast, and it boasts miles of beautiful, rosy, rocky granite coast and an abundance of habitats. I spent 2 weeks there, one during the beginning of the summer and one near the end of the summer, walking the trails, accompanied by eagles and cormorants, porcupines, moss, fog. And once I stopped listening to that nagging voice in my head that told me I should be working or doing something else, I let myself kind of inhabit and record the moments of Acadia. It's a beautiful, liminal, inspirational place. And I wrote several hundred poems there, actually, many of which never left my journal, but 50 of them are now archived on a webpage at the Acadia site. And I'll put the link in the chat a little later in case you want to read more of my Acadia poems. Here are 7 of them for you. Skirting puddles, the lilt of a thrush. Skirting puddles, the lilt of a thrush. The morning pulse of lobster boats, of gull wings. The morning pulse of lobster boats, of gull wings. Spindrift, a gull's down feather caught in a fissure. Beach pea glistening with rain, sea smooth stones. Beach pea glistening with rain, sea smooth stones. A vole sips from a trail puddle, a hole in the clouds. Beads of rain, a tamarack cups a spider web. Crests and troughs, an eider slides under. Crests and troughs, an eider slides under. Before I end, I wanted to mention that something that Gary mentioned in his introduction, that when the pandemic started, I started emailing 3 of my haiku each Monday to anybody who'd like to receive them. And when I started the project, I intended to share my haiku with people who didn't have haiku in their lives. Perhaps the haiku could provide some solace during these challenging times. But over the months, some haiku poets have also been interested. So I'm going to put my email in the chat in case you want me to add you to the BCC list. You'll get them every Monday. They're called 3 Breaths. And I'm going to end with these last 2 poems. What's left at low tide? The ocean. What's left at low tide? The ocean. The circumference of a redwood tree, a circle of friends. The circumference of a redwood tree, a circle of friends. And in these challenging times, it's comforting to know that we still have an ocean of haiku that we can share with a wonderful circle of friends like you. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much.